My message to the losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the car.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Political debates have morphed into war zones where stubborn ideologies slam headfirst into reason. Recently, Bill Maher confronted Whoopi Goldberg's claims head-on, slicing through them with his trademark bluntness and razor-sharp wit. It wasn't just a celebrity spat. It was a brutal reminder of how easily shaky narratives crumble under real scrutiny.
I just understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking to a white person.
The debate escalated after Bill Maher's fiery exchange with Whoopi Goldberg. Known for calling out both sides, Maher hit back with hard facts, cornering Whoopi into defending her stance with the usual progressive catchphrases she often uses on The View. The clash didn't just make headlines. It exposed the growing disconnect between elite liberal narratives and the everyday struggles of regular Americans.
You have this new book out, and I watch your show all the time, so I know that you're a comic, but you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them, and a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
Equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was.
Before diving in, it's crucial to understand the players. Whoopi Goldberg, a loud advocate for liberal causes, routinely brushes off left-wing criticism as nothing more than right-wing noise. Bill Maher, on the other hand, rejects strict ideological boxes. He's an old-school liberal, not a conservative. That contrast set the stage for a heated clash the audience could feel coming.
I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going, oh, I lost.
The clash kicked off when Whoopi brushed aside concerns about the economy, crime, and working-class struggles. Maher fired back fast, stressing that real people feel inflation and safety issues far more than symbolic gestures. Rather than tackle his points head-on, Whoopi dodged with vague responses and leaned on outdated economic slogans, ones that felt disconnected from the daily grind of average Americans. Instead of engaging with the facts Maher laid out, she deflected.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence the people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credit.
Maher didn't let a weak argument slide. He exposed a major flaw in Whoopi's stance, pointing out how progressive elites, especially white liberals, often claim to champion marginalized groups while ignoring the real issues those communities actually care about. Polls show Black and Hispanic voters are far more concerned with crime and financial security than with the endless ideological debates flooding social media. Whoopi's unwillingness to admit this only made her argument look even weaker.
Bond with my audience has always been, I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
When Maher shifted the focus to political hypocrisy, the tone changed sharply. He zeroed in on the Hunter Biden scandal, highlighting how Democrats, often loud about accountability, go silent when it's one of their own under fire. Whoopi, clearly uncomfortable, tried to downplay Biden's actions as overblown, But Maher wasn't letting that slide. He pressed harder, refusing to let her dodge the double standard.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You know, you look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like when I came back after the strike in September, I said,
Maher quoted President Biden's own words, "No one is above the law," then pointed straight to the contradiction of him pardoning his own son. He argued this kind of blatant double standard is exactly why so many Americans are fed up with the system. Rules mean nothing if they're only applied when it's politically convenient. Maher's logic hit hard, and Whoopi's defense simply couldn't withstand the weight of that truth.
I think a conservative once said to me, what you guys in the liberal side of it don't get about Donald Trump is we don't like him either.
Yeah.
It's just that in this country, it's binary. I mean, gender may not be binary, but politics is. You only get two choices. And the stuff that they are afraid of, they see Donald Trump as a bulwark.
As the debate intensified, Maher turned his aim toward the media's role in shaping public opinion. He accused mainstream outlets of burying the Hunter Biden story before the election, choosing to protect a preferred narrative over journalistic integrity. Whoopi flat out refused to engage with the evidence Maher presented, dismissing it as nothing more than another right-wing conspiracy theory, ignoring the deeper issue entirely.
Buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump.
The conversation widened as Maher slammed the progressive movement for creating a climate where challenging their views is instantly labeled as hate. He pointed out that working-class Americans, the very people progressives claim to fight for, aren't buying into the radical narratives pushed by media elites. But Whoopi kept brushing off valid concerns as right-wing fearmongering. Maher then shifted to the broader political landscape, highlighting how the Democratic Party's sharp left turn is driving away key voter blocs like Black and Hispanic Americans. Polls show these groups are often more patriotic, more supportive of police, and less accepting of unchecked illegal immigration than white progressives. Still, Democrats choose to appease elite activists instead of addressing the real issues that everyday Americans face.
Her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be a pretty right-wing organization. Said Biden shouldn't do that, but ego. He's Dracula. He has crossed oceans of time to be here, and he's not going to give it up now.
Throughout the discussion, Whoopi Goldberg struggled to defend her position when confronted with Maher's fact-based arguments. Instead of addressing his concerns directly, she resorted to emotional appeals, vague talking points, and outright evasion. This pattern, where ideology takes precedence over evidence, has become a hallmark of many leaders within the woke movement. A turning point came when Maher asked Whoopi about the real issues facing Black and Hispanic Americans. Rather than admit that these communities prioritize economic security and public safety over progressive causes, she deflected, attempting to shift the focus to unrelated issues. This moment laid bare the fundamental flaw of woke politics, its refusal to face uncomfortable truths. When their ideological beliefs are challenged, figures like Whoopi deflect rather than engage.
That stuff is a lot closer to the home. It's like my kid is coming home from school, and they're not allowed to tell me if they're transitioning. The school is going to take the side of the kid over the parent. Stuff like that. There is a lot of crazy stuff on the left. This book.
When her arguments were effectively dismantled, Whoopi resorted to playing the victim, accusing Maher of distorting her words and attacking her character. But when Maher held up a mirror, there was no distortion, just the hard truth. Faced with solid evidence, she couldn't muster a convincing reply, revealing the weakness in her stance.
You used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything, and I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized, and so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
Maher's criticism carried extra weight because it came from a longtime liberal, not a conservative. His stance as a liberal make him uniquely qualified to challenge the excesses of the progressive movement, while his refusal to toe the ideological purity line has alienated him from certain circles. It has earned him the respect of those who prioritize critical thinking and honest conversation.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country, and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
Maher didn't need to raise his voice to make his criticism hit hard. With calm precision, he systematically dismantled Whoopi's points, leaving her with no way to defend her position. Her evasive responses did nothing to salvage her standing, and it was clear she was rattled. In the end, the debate transcended Whoopi Goldberg herself, representing a larger shift in American politics. More people are starting to recognize the flaws and double standards within the woke movement, not because the movement has changed, but because it has strayed from its original principles. Maher, once a liberal icon, has now become one of its most vocal critics.